Okay, we will open the meeting at 6:30. All rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Cullis, here. Winchester.
Oh, here.
Jennifer Ryan.
Here.
Derek Burton.
Here.
Steve Ruth.
Here.
Here. Okay, you told me she wasn't here. That was my
Oh,
cue.
yeah.
Agenda
Oh, it should
approval.
have been me.
Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Winchester. Support.
Support.
Support by Burton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. All items listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial. They do not require discussion by the Township Board, and they will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion. If discussion is desired on an item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will automatically be moved to the last item under new business. Chair will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Support by Treasurer Ryan. Is there motion by Treasurer
Support.
Ryan? Support by Mr. Ruth. I need a roll call vote.
Derek Burton.
Oh,
Yes.
you're gonna do it.
Oh, you can do it. Do you want to do it?
Just easy.
Okay. Steve Ruth.
Yes.
Jen Ryan.
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes. George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0. Public hearing. The 2024 Community Development Block Grant application. I would entertain a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Winchester. Support.
Support.
Support by Burton. All in favor of opening the public hearing for the 2024 Community Development Block Grant application, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
So we are having a rehearing because when we applied for the application in November, December time, we put it for the barrier-free for the new Township Hall, and we were going to reprogram our prior year's funds from Oakland County Home Improvement. Well, due to the pandemic and all the people that needed to have those kind of things done, they used up the money. So we were not allowed to we couldn't reprogram our money, they've already used it.
Okay.
So now, in order for it to be used, we have to go back to what we usually do is pick we alternate each public service in
For
our
part of it.
community for part of it, and then the rest goes to community home improvement unless we find another.
Rather than send it home community, we can't use it for the ramp?
You have to have Davis Bacon, you have to do all the environmentals.
You have to
This
have what?
year-
Whoa, back up. What was the first?
It's a Davis Bacon job, so it has to be.
Davis Bacon?
Yeah, it falls under Davis Bacon, which is all prevailing wage, which is a huge process in itself.
A lot of reporting.
You have to go through SHPO, the historic, because of the age of the building, even though it's not old to
I'll
us.
say it's 7 years old.
But the original's from the 80s, so the one bay. By the time we would be done and then putting engineering together, we wouldn't have any money to do.
Okay.
It would all be used up. So it just didn't seem, when we could save
So,
up for a few
as a
years.
public hearing,
but-
is this where these groups should be here to tell us why they want the money?
Well, yes, but we just usually alternate between the ones that we usually do. So this time we did senior services last year, so I just put down, so it's on the agenda, the CDB application. So it's the Haven, it's their term.
Oh,
I mean, the only other way we could do it is pick a project that we don't intend to really do to save the money and then reprogram it down the road, because if they use this money, but that's being kind of dishonest, and I don't think that's a
And
good
how much,
idea.
how much money are we talking?
19,000 total.
Right, it would be $16,321.
But how much of that are we giving Haven?
Like
The
2,000?
maximum, yeah, $2,880.
What was the other number? 16,000?
321, 16,321.
Okay.
And so just for clarification, is this replacing the one we did last November? Or will this,
Yes.
okay.
So she
Is
said
there-
we're required to
This
have
is a
another
public hearing. Is there anybody
Okay.
that wishes to speak on this topic? Okay.
Move to close the public hearing.
Motion to close by Winchester, support
Support?
by Mr. Burton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, next we have presentation by the Holly Township Parks on their 2024-2025 budget, proposed parks budget.
Hello.
So everyone should have received a copy. of
You want to
the
start by introducing,
correction.
you want to start by introducing yourself, please?
Sure, hi, I'm Amy Childers, I'm the program coordinator for the Holly Township Parks.
Joe Hutchins, Holly Township Parks Chairman.
Are you guys hearing that through the microphone? No, I'm getting head shaking,
hear it.
no.
Okay,
Tap that microphone, is it on? It's on. You just got to get it closer to you.
okay. Amy Childers, program.
Amy, if you want, move the stand around to the side.
All right.
Well, because you're kind of
Pull it
short.
around
Pick the whole
that
stand up
side.
and bring it.
I think I'm good. All right, Amy Childers, program coordinator for the Holly Township Parks and Rec.
Joe Hutchins, Holly Township Parks Chairperson.
Gotcha.
You can take the microphone
Just
right
take it
off, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you all have a copy of the budget. Do you have any questions that you want me to answer?
Well, I would just make the comment, it looks like you guys will be doing a lot of investments into the park, which is good to see. There's
Yeah.
a lot of money getting invested into the
Yeah.
shape of the parks this year.
We are using all of the savings that we would have from kind of moving some things around in the budget towards maintenance and
Mhm.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we want to
awesome.
fix up the things that have been needed to fix up for a bit.
Yep. And Parks 2, was that Sorensen or is that the beach?
Yeah, Sorensen.
Sorensen,
So
okay.
the original park is the beach, and
Okay.
I believe 1955, I want to say, is the year that that was put in, and then Sorensen's been there since the early 90s.
Mid-90s, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yep. And I'm also happy to report that we are working with Michigan Works, so we'll be staffing the beach this summer with senior citizens, and so we don't have to budget any of that money in because it'll all be free to us, and then they'll be paid through Michigan Works.
Nice.
One of the things I noticed on the budget were your operating supplies went from $8,000 to $2,500.
Yeah.
That's quite a reduction.
Yeah. Yeah, Rachel, our bookkeeper, has done a pretty good job of paying attention to what we're using where, and so we kind of were able to update things accordingly.
Are there any other questions for the board?
The revised is different than the proposed? Or
The
is
revised
it-
is 24s.
Ah.
The revised
23,
would,
24, yeah.
right,
24,
yeah,
25,
and then
okay.
proposed would be what we're proposing for 25, yeah.
So no disc golf this year?
No, there is. I think that we just overestimated how much money it would bring in,
Ah, okay.
right? So we updated it based on what it's actually doing and thinking of it more as it's a community resource because the
Right.
disc golf course is free, so.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made more money in classes than what we thought. We're not doing beach tags. The beach is going to be free all summer.
So you do have one change on here if you go down to 804 and 805.
Yep.
One was beach legal, the other one was just legal. Now, they used to be $50 each. I see you've combined them all for $100 under legal. Is that just a double print, or?
I think maybe just to simplify it, we won't really have
I
a
just wonder
separate-
what was the difference
right.
between beach legal and just legal?
Exactly. I don't know that there was.
Joe,
So I think that
don't
was
know?
just a consolidation because it made more sense.
Yes.
No, I think this is one of the best budgets I've seen since I've been here. I don't know about the rest of you.
We're always working to be better.
Good.
There's always room for improvement.
No, well, but this is impressive, looks good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you for your
All
presentation.
right. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, we will move on to reports. Trustees, I think it's Mr. Ruth's turn.
Nothing for me, that we did not have a PC meeting last month.
We
Did not
have what?
have a PC meeting,
Oh, okay.
planning commission meeting.
All right, Mr. Burton?
Yes, just a reminder again, as I said last month, the youth recognition has actually been extended. I'm not 100% sure, there wasn't a clarification on the date. So if you get those in as soon as possible, again, this is for youth who maybe they helped mow somebody's yard, a neighbor's yard, or, they just went above and beyond to do something in the community or something you feel they should be recognized for. So you can find that recognition application right on their website. And besides that, I do not have anything to report other than also their 2023 annual report is out. So I can send that, I'll forward that all on to you all as well.
Okay, now the clerk.
Okay, I had a rather timely MTA class since we've been talking about the new Township Hall, and I just wanted to share a few of the important takeaways I thought of on the class. They did have, in addition to these takeaways and discussion, they had talked about campaigning on public property, free speech, things like that. But these I thought were important, and it was taught by the MTA legal staff there. One was township properties and facilities are not for public purposes. If it is for public purposes, we must state as a board why, such as parks, and it should be in policy. If the property is leased, it should be leased at a going rate of lease space within the community. It is the property of the taxpayers, and they have a right to a fair return on the rental of public facilities. And there can be no discrimination on what groups or individuals it can be leased to. If the township decides to allow properties to be used for private purposes, such as facilities being leased to private groups or people, it should be returned to the tax roll, as it's no longer property being used for governmental purposes. No board member or employee has the right to allow private use of the public facilities. If private use is allowed, it is an all or nothing situation. You can't discriminate. You must allow all groups or residents to use the facilities. There's no discrimination on who uses it. Township, and this is her quote, "The Township Hall is not a community hall. It's for government purposes. It is used only for public purposes, and it's for everyone, and there should be no distinguishing between," I don't think I said that right. "If it is used for public purposes, it has to be for everyone. There should be no distinguishing between community groups and other residents that wish to use it. It's an everything, or everybody or a nobody policy." Those were the important takeaways. And that's it.
Okay. Treasurer.
Just in general, working on the settlement. I did have an announcement, so the next week, Deputy Nina and I are going to the annual MMTA training. It'll be all next week, so the treasurer's office will be closed next week.
Okay. Supervisor's report. I kind of expected more people from Riverside North. I see there's two gentlemen here. I was going to talk on that for a moment. There was a post in the Riverside North Facebook page calling for more people to attend tonight's meeting in question as to what's going on with the developer and the turning over of the roads to the Oakland County Road Commission. And what I wanted to touch base on is that this is a project that's been going on for 20 years. Riverside North was a development approved in the early 2000s, 2005, I believe it was. And when developments like this are created, there is a bond that is put forth, and there are requirements that the developer needs to do. Now, as we all know, that park sat empty, with the exception of 5 homes, I think, for probably 15 years before a new developer picked it up. And by the time the current developer picked it up, he's number 3, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So there's been 3 developers along the way, and the bond that was put there has been used at different times for different things along the way as well. You go from 2005 to 2024, the dollar doesn't go as long as it used to. That bond was set at a time when they were using 2005 pricing. So that means that you don't have the kind of money in a bond that you would have hoped to have had the neighborhood been completed in 3 years as proposed in the beginning. That being said, the developer came in, they built the homes, they sold the lots to builders, and now they have responsibilities that they have to fulfill. We have worked with them as well as we can. You can't make people call you back, so there's been times where we've had a hard time getting a hold of, but we have had communication on a fairly regular basis, and they have done a lot of the things they're supposed to do. They still have a list of things they have to complete. It comes down to finances, it always does. They're working on them. It was a big surprise to them that they thought they had a 2-inch overlay to do and they'd be done. They had no idea that the road commission was going to come in and say, well, after 15 years, all of these things need to be repaired before you even do the overlay. So they've had a lot of work to do. There's also paperwork to do. They have to do the deed restrictions and the easements, and that has to be turned in. So there's a lot of things that have been doing, and we at the township have been working with them, trying to get them to move along. One of the things you have to remember is if you take court action and go after that bond, there's not enough bond money to do the work that needed to be done. The other problem you have to look at from a practical sense is any business can file bankruptcy if they're at that point. If they're at a point where they're losing money, they'll do that, and then they leave you high and dry, and it's up to the HOA. So has it taken a long time? It has. We are doing what we can, working with them, and they've been communicating with Karen, and they've been communicating with the gal at the county, and getting some of the stuff done. Is it as quickly as we'd like? Of course not, but at least it's moving along. And I was going to report on that tonight for that group. Unfortunately, you're the only 2 gentlemen that are here. Hopefully you'll take that back with them. It is on tape so they can see it. But we're hoping to get that completed without anybody filing bankruptcy, without having to go to court, because the court costs come out of the bond, and there's not enough bond left to do much. So we're trying to, at this point, I think we're almost trying to use the bond as bait. Finish up and you can have the bond back.
And technically, it's not their bond. It was the one of the first developers that went bankrupt. So it's not just as easy as taking the bond.
Right.
We'd
have to go to court and do all the process.
Exactly.
So-
It's all legal,
Yeah.
which we find out takes sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years to resolve through court.
Well, I know that there was one email I saw, because I get copied on them, that the gal at the county, and Karen said she's caught in the middle here trying to get some things done, and the gal at the county said you shouldn't be the middleman, that it should be the management company going to the county and getting this done. And it's my understanding, you guys are not in control of your HOA yet? Is that still?
Not us, not MRI.
No, but does the neighborhood have control over its HOA, or is it still with the management company?
We have control.
Oh, you guys do have control of that. So some things have been happening and moving along, but that's what's going on. I saw the post out there, and I just wanted you to know that we're there doing what we can with the limitations we have. But it's moving along. I know he told Karen, what, a week ago?
I
That he's-
talked to him, I think 2 days ago.
Or 2 days ago?
Yeah, he's out of town. He said the sidewalk, the landscaping around the sidewalk should be done within the next couple weeks. Spark Paving is prepared to do there's a crack at the entrance that the road commission's requiring them to do. And he's not sure where the legal paperwork was. He is checking on that when he gets back on Monday.
That's in the process.
That's in the process. That's what they need for the road commission.
Yeah.
But the approval for the road should be the landscaping and the crack. But then there's street trees too we have to address. But we'll get to that after we get him to get the road situation. That's the least of our worries.
Okay,
But that's on as well.
so I wanted to share that information with you. Next, we'll move on to public comment on agenda items only. Members of the public can address the board on agenda items only once recognized by the supervisor. Comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. The board may extend this time by a majority vote. Prior to addressing the board, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record. A second public comment is available after new business for all other comments. Thank you for your cooperation. Anyone for public comment? Going once? Twice? Okay. We will go to old business, which is the new Township Hall property. I know we met recently with both John Ballant and HRC, and they're going to be coming back with a proposal for the May meeting on that. So that's where we're at there. We will move on to new business. Township boards and commission meeting dates, proposed resolution 2024-07.
So as we noted, the planning commission's gonna change, nothing else changed other than, I put it at the township hall, since we're still, don't know how soon we're gonna be moving into the new township hall. So that's still up in the air. That made no sense to me to try to set it all up there and then bring it back to the township hall. So we're in the process of putting the buildings, moving some of the files for the building department and set up the room upstairs at the township hall.
You have one more comment or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. We should note that the planning commission meetings are changing from the first Tuesday of the month to the second Wednesday of the month.
Right.
Correct? Does that interfere with any other meetings that the village has or any of the other boards?
Well, we will be at the township hall, so no, that's starting July 1st.
Okay, but it is the same night as another meeting? I'm assuming that's
No.
what you're telling me. Oh,
Ask me that again. No, there's no other
I just-
meetings that would be in our room.
that's not what I was asking.
Okay.
What I'm asking is just out of curiosity, are we conflicting with any other meeting that our residents would be wanting to go to?
I have no idea.
So we didn't even take that into consideration then? No, okay. That's what I was asking. All right.
Do we need to change the address for the location of the planning commission meetings too?
Oh, yes, thank you. Yep.
Okay, so chair would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-07 with the correction of both addresses for the Board of Trustees and Planning Commission meeting stating 102 Civic Drive, Holly, Michigan.
Support?
Motion by Burton, support by Winchester. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Jen Ryan?
Yes?
Steve Ruth?
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes. Derek Burton?
Yes.
George Cullis?
No. Motion carries 4-1. Number 2 is meeting location change for June 17th. Do we need to make that a motion? Didn't we just approve it in the...
That starts July 1st, but.
Oh, this is June 17th.
Yes,
Okay.
Steve Lenard said that the last day would be June 7th for any meetings.
Okay, so we need to move that. On the agenda, it says change for the June 7th meeting. That change is 102 Civic Drive.
Right. I didn't know if that was the case, so I didn't want to just put it on there.
It's okay, I'm just confirming, so
Okay.
we need a motion that states that.
Make a motion to change the meeting location for the June 17th Board of Trustees meeting to 102 Civic Drive at 6:30.
Is there support?
Support.
Support by Treasurer Ryan. I always write TR, it looks like Teddy Roosevelt, but anyway. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, we move on to number 3, the 2024-25 NACFA budget proposed, resolution 2024-08. I will, for the purpose of the public, read that budget for the next year has a total based on the cost center is $2,845,750. Now,
A 4% increase to the townships.
yeah, and that makes the township's portion $1,103,000.
I would move to approve the 2024-2025 NACFA budget, proposed resolution 2024-08.
Support by Winchester, or motion by Winchester, support.
Support.
Support by TR. It's, any further
It's
discussion?
JR, Junior,
What?
JR.
I just put Treasurer Ryan, that's where the TR comes from.
TR, gotcha. Duh.
So I just wanted to,
I have to do that because I got Ruth over here.
Yeah.
So otherwise I have R, when they make a motion together, it's the railroad,
Yeah,
R and R.
so I just want to say it so you guys are aware, I will be voting no. I did already speak to Assistant Chief Weil, soon to be Chief Weil, and it's regarding the full-time administrative position. So I'll be a no.
Yeah, to clarify what Mr. Trustee Burton's talking about, is the fire department has, with the retirement of Chief Lentz, he has been the chief for 17 years, and as the department has grown, he just kept doing everything. And to the point where he was doing all the administrative, all the chief stuff. Moving forward, Chief Weil will literally have time to do the chief job, and they're going to create a new position for an administrator to do all of the administration work. And that's what he's referencing. That has a salary within the budget of $65,000.
that's budgeted, but that doesn't mean that's what we'll negotiate that. Or,
We don't get to know, that's up to the
Well,
chief how that
right.
goes. So, all right,
My only I mean, you guys are on the actual NACFA board, so from your perspective, from what you've seen, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with them, just looking at history and stuff, but everything seems okay. The only big increases are just personnel in general, but that's fairly common, so.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and one of the things that we as a board have done over the last 2 years, I think it has been, we've added several full-time positions. Now, why do we do that? First of all, we don't have pension programs. We have payments into 401k, but we don't have legacy costs involved in those going down the line. The reason we did that is because if you've been paying any attention to the news at all, it is so hard to get first responders. Every department's short, everybody's looking for help. Up here in this part of the county, we're on the low end of the pay scale for everything because we're a smaller community and we have smaller budgets. Our fire chief still makes under $100,000. I think they all make over that anywhere else. So we have a problem with losing our people to the bigger departments. When we had on call, we had so many people that worked for the fire department but had to hold down another job in order to support the family because they were never guaranteed a certain amount of money. By moving the on-call to full-time, it allowed us to guarantee to fill these shifts. And that's important because if we don't have somebody at the fire department to answer the phone, we're all in trouble. So we have added full-time positions. We weighed the cost of the salary plus the benefits against what we were paying for on-call and the amount of shifts we had for on-call and the amount of shifts that didn't get filled. And we found one of the ways to stop losing our good people to those departments that want full-time people was to offer them full-time here. And so we have added,
And wage increases.
yeah, and well, and
Or
wage,
on call.
yeah, when I first was elected as township supervisor, my first year in the budget, we're going through the budget and they hit salaries and they kind of just walk through them because everybody's looked at it and he reads it off and I said, wait a minute, back up. I got a question. An EMT / firefighter, it says they get $12.84 or 86 an hour. It was one of those two numbers. I said, are you telling me that a guy that completes fire training and all of his EMT work, he starts out at the fire department, he's going to jump on a truck, go put someone's life in his hands or put his life in the hands of a fire, and we start him at $12.84? And they said yes. And I said, you earlier stated we have a retention problem. I think we just found it. At $12.84, 8 years ago, you could get that at McDonald's. And I said, we have to look at that, and over the next 2 years, we raised that entry from $12.84 to $17.84 in a 2-year period. Well, you don't move the bottom line without moving the rest of the people. So we've done some salary increases over the last few years to at least get us in that ballpark. Now we have, are we up, Chief, you can help me, we're up to 11 full-time? Yeah. We're up to 11 full-time, where I think at that time we had 2? I think by the time I came in, we had 4. That's my recollection, but it's a big difference. But it's been done, calculated, we've looked at the budgets, and the reason for it is retention to keep good people here. So I can tell you that. Now, this addition to the department from an administrative standpoint is one more step in moving forward in creating that full department. I've not made it a secret, so I can tell you here, I've already let them know that in the next union negotiation, we're going to look at taking the assistant chief's position out of the union and making it a contract position along with the chief. This past year, we had some union work we had to do with an employee that was discharged, and I sat through those hearings, and it does an injustice to our chief to have him sitting there on an island all by himself with the rest of the department on the other side of the table, including his assistant chief. And we need to fix that. So we will be looking at the next negotiation. That being said, is there any other discussion on this resolution? I have a motion, I have support. Roll call, please.
Karen Winchester, yes. Jen Ryan?
Yes.
Derek Burton?
No.
Steve Root,
Yes.
George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 4-1.
So the next, the park budget, I mean, it's not in resolution form. I just had it on the agenda in case there was back and forth. I didn't know how.
Well, we have to approve it.
We don't, no, we can approve it next month.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Which is usually when we do it. But in the past, we've always had things that they've had to answer and back and forth, so I didn't do a resolution.
In case
And
you
and it
missed
has to
it.
be passed by resolution?
It should be, yes.
Okay, because I was going to say, it's so clean, I would just say, let's do it now, but if you have to have a resolution.
I think it
I think
should
this
be
is the
by-
first year that there's,
yeah.
other than the minor questions we asked, there's no issue.
Mhm.
There's no issue. The parks are in such a different position than they were just 2 years ago.
It's
That,
just a better way to document it. It's in the,
okay,
it's recorded in the book and.
then we'll have it on the agenda next month. All right. Next is the Holly Area Youth Coalition contract for opioid settlement activities. Jen, do you want to explain why we're doing, or how we're doing this? Because it's been pretty complicated.
Oh, I didn't go through the process. That was Karen.
Oh, was it Karen?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's me. So, basically, our intention as a board when we were receiving the opioid settlements was to hand off any of the settlement monies that we received to the fire department. Unfortunately, it puts them, I think, in a different category of reporting, and so it wasn't feasible for them to
It's-
take the.
So I can explain, the beginning of this opioid contract actually came to my office. Holly Township qualified because we have over 10,000 people. It's free money from court cases.
Yeah.
It's settlement money, and I felt that it made sense for us to apply for it to get it to the fire department. Rose Township doesn't qualify because they don't have the population, so we were applying for this money. It said we had upwards of $20,000 coming, so why wouldn't we apply? Like everything else, once you get involved in it, the paperwork and the reporting and what you have to do with the money is so restricted that as the fire department looked at it, it was going to require so much more
It costs
because
them
it's stuff
money
they
to-
don't typically do. It wasn't literally money where they could put drugs, needles, whatnot into the truck.
Mhm.
It was more about education and pamphlets, and that's a Holly Area Youth Coalition project.
Absolutely. So they're the only ones in the community
That
that could
already
actually
do.
use it.
Yeah, that already do what was going to be required of this money.
Right. So I contacted them. So they made the proposal, formal proposal, and then the contract is from our attorney's office, and they've reviewed it and they're fine with it, and everything's good.
So we need a motion to approve that contract. I'll make that motion. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Clerk Winchester. Is there any other discussion?
Where's the contract? We don't have a contract.
Yeah, it's in there.
It is?
Yeah, do you have there's like a summary on the
Ah, yeah.
front, and then
Okay.
there's like a couple pages.
I would say it starts out
So
with Holly Area
far-
Youth Coalition.
Yep.
Jen, do you remember how long it's been, probably since you got here, that we've received? So
I know we got some right after I got here, so if that was the
Yeah.
first one.
And it started a
It's- I
year
think
bef-
it was the
It
first
started a year
one.
before that.
Right, so we've only received $1,759 so far. I don't know if we're ever gonna meet.
So the money comes
The
from
20.
these lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I know I saw a paper one time that we were supposed to get that much, we're supposed to get 8,000 of this much, we're supposed to get this much. It had totaled just under 20,000. But it's this process, we're always getting stuff to report, to fill out.
Does this allow us to, if we get more money, just give it to them, or do we have to
Yes.
come back and do
Nope.
more?
It'll be, so all the settlements will go to them.
I've been told to look at my phone. Oh, okay. When did you say we had to be out of KRC? June 7th?
Mhm.
So apparently Jerry Walker's watching our meeting and he called in to let us know it's June 8th. I'm just, well, because somebody gave us the order, like, look at your phone.
Actually, the stuff.
That's okay, it's okay. I just, okay. It's good to have good news. Have our news be accurate. We don't want to. So back to the contract for the opioid settlement. Was there any further discussion? When I was told to look at my phone, I thought it had something to do with that topic. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Okay. Because it's a contract, let's go ahead and do a vote, a roll call.
Steve Ruth,
No?
Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
Yes.
Karen Winchester, yes, George Cullis.
Yes. Motion carries 4-1. Now we move on to the application for the CDBG proposed resolution 2409, which switches it from the November resolution to, Karen, help me out, giving it to what's it called? Community,
Haven
or Haven, I'm sorry.
and the
Oh.
Oakland County Home
I-
Improvement
I had it.
Program.
And the home improvement program, that was the part I was trying to remember. So the chair will entertain a motion?
I move.
Go ahead.
I move to approve proposed resolution 2024-09 for the 2024 CDBG application as updated.
Support.
Okay, before we go any further, you're going to want to change this resolution. You have 2024-08.
Oh, she gave an updated one.
Yeah, there's
two in
another
there.
one.
If you look at the
Yeah,
next
09.
page.
Oh, and throw that one away.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to pull yours.
I was
Go
saying,
in there and I sneak it.
I'm looking at 08.
I could get it and I'd pull one out and put one in.
No. Okay,
Well, because you had me switch stuff around, so I had already had all of them
Oh.
numbered, and then when we switched,
well, that's good, as long as it's my fault.
yeah, that's
We're
right.
good. Of course it's my fault.
That's-
There's a method to my madness, trust me.
There was.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Then do a roll call, please.
Karen Winchester, yes. Jen Ryan,
Yes.
Steve Ruth,
Yes.
Derek Burton,
Yes.
George Cullis.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. Now, the last thing on the agenda is the removal of one Board of Review alternate, term ending December 31st. I had left this person on as an alternate because I hate removing anybody due to health issues. So I left that person on in name with the understanding that if they ever wanted to come back, they were welcome. Unfortunately, by state law, I can't leave that name on there. So we have to remove it tonight. I have talked with her. It's Pam Krantz. Many of you know her. She's having trouble with so many things, her health, but she is a champion. She is just one of the best people. I hate having to remove this here, but I have to stay compliant. So I need to make a motion to remove Pam Krantz as an alternate. She understands and told me not to worry about it. Obviously, I didn't pay attention. I do need support.
Support.
Support by Treasurer Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. That is never easy. There are some wonderful, wonderful people in this community that put forth so much energy and work. And
And she used to do
they deserve
elections,
our
too.
appreciation. She's done everything.
A lot of stuff
She
for us.
is, I think, Marlo, you were the second woman president of the chamber, and Pam was third. following Ardith Reagan, and she has been involved in the Dickens Festival for 50 years. She was involved in elections for so many years, and just so many things. She came prepared, she had her information, and it's just so hard when you see somebody like that, and her spirit is tremendous, and she's fighting every day, but it's just been a downhill battle. I know she goes for bone density studies tomorrow. They've had to stop her rehab because she just didn't have the strength to go through.
Oh, that's
So-
unfortunate.
It's tough.
Is she home?
She is home.
Okay.
Some days are better than others.
Yeah.
And it's there, so. Okay, public comment, somebody got something happy? I'm sorry, I get attached to some of these people that work and. Happy, right?
Ready? Well, let's. I'll start off by thanking you for addressing the Riverside North
Okay.
issue. Just wanted to.
Name and
Oh,
address.
start out with
Eric
name and
Fair, 2109 Middle Ridge Drive.
Eric
Holly. Fair.
Fair.
F is in Frank,
Oh, okay.
A-I-R. I'm a
Yep.
fair guy.
Yep. At
Your address
your
again?
post, I saw that,
2109, trying to get
I know, I
everyone
was
here.
surprised, I was expecting people.
A lot of young families, a lot of them, a lot of kids in the neighborhood. I can understand why a lot can't make it, but
Yeah.
there definitely should be more people here. I agree.
Oh.
But I'm going on my 6th year living there. I know you guys say that things take a year, 2 years to get things in motion. You just can't take bond money and use it. I get it. This is the 3rd developer.
I just want to clarify, I didn't say we can't use the.
Well,
bond.
right.
There just isn't
There's
enough.
a lot of things that we need to do,
Right.
okay? I mean, we established an HOA 2 years ago. We've been collecting dues. We've used thousands of dollars. We finished the grade in our common area, so it can be cut and maintained. I even brought a tractor in, and we hauled dirt, clearing up ruts that the builders left, so it can be maintained. A lot of hard work, a lot of money has gone into this, that the developer should have done. They came in, they coated the roads, they're great. They came in and did sidewalk landings to nowhere. I don't know who's planning this or what's going on. There's empty holes and ruts. I understand that's probably gonna be filled in, but, I mean, all this money was spent on the cement and it stops. There's
Is it- is it-
HRC, huh?
Is it sidewalk going to
It's sidewalk
phase
going to
2?
nowhere.
Well,
Oh,
there's some that are just empty, so we'll have that addressed in
Oh.
our punch list.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they're going nowhere. HRC addressed this back in August 31st of '22, not finishing the sidewalks. Between, the lots around here, I'm sure you have this has your name on it, and they were supposed to be finished. I mean, that's from '22. The
Oh,
last home was finished. in
You're talking
21.
about gaps in the sidewalk?
Yeah, I mean, they just stopped.
Gotcha. I thought he meant they had a sidewalk going nowhere.
Well, no, there's a landing, and then it just stops, and there's no other sidewalk in sight where
Oh.
it's supposed to go or what direction.
Gotcha.
But anyway, the last house was completed and moved into in 2021. We're in 2024.
So it's been 3 years.
It's been a long time.
No, I know.
I've been there 6. I get it. I just don't know why things weren't taken care of when it was a quarter finished, when it was halfway finished, when 75% completion of why. And if there's anything in place for these other phases that they look to do, so this doesn't happen as well down the road that they're supposed to expand. Or, I mean, who's going to be held accountable for this stuff? I mean, it's got to be done.
You know, one of the problems that I just heard you say, and this is a problem we've talked about, when the developer sells a lot to builders, the builders sell to you, and when they complete what they've contracted with you to do, we can't hold up their CFO trying to get the developer to do something. We have to move on that.
'Cause
They're
they've
separate
sold it,
entities. And unfortunately, if you have a developer that doesn't have a history of doing everything well, then you end up
And
in
there-
civil court
right.
dragging feet.
And in the future, definitely, there will be timelines established in an agreement.
It's been extremely frustrating. I love
Yep.
Holly Township. I'm glad I moved here, but this has just been it's just been a battle. I mean, it's led to other things within the neighborhood with people arguing with each other, and it's just not, it hasn't been a good situation for a lot of families there, moving in
Nope.
and finding out that roads, when are they gonna get done? When are we gonna have street signs? People fly through there. I mean, people with common sense like myself, Martin, we stop, even though, there used to be a sign there, somehow it's missing. We stop, we look both ways, but a lot of people don't have the common sense. They just fly right through. And it's a school right there, and there's several little children in the neighborhood that walk to and from school. And there's sidewalks, we can't walk the whole sidewalk, use the sidewalks all the way around. People have to use the roads.
Right?
So, weather's nice, people are out.
But, and understand, we don't live in it, I get that, but we do share some of your frustration, because we have to deal with it at the office end, and it's really frustrating. I want to bite my tongue, because I really want to mention names, but there's been some people in that project that we've had to deal with, and you know who I'm talking about, that have not been fun to deal with.
No, it's been really rough.
You can't trust when they say what they say, and one day they're your friend, and the next day you can't get them to return a call. We've had all of that happen.
I just hope something's in place here for the future, further phases going down the road here, and I just hope
Absolutely.
that ours gets finished
Yeah.
soon. This year would be nice.
Well, but I did want you and the rest of your people to know, we have been working on it. Karen has been diligent. She has been on the phone. And I've been on the phone with him. And it's hard to get him to return calls.
But he has the last few times I've called, so he's
Yeah, so for,
He's
and the
being
good news,
responsive.
the good news is, at least they're communicating
Yeah.
and they're doing something.
And the signs, he's supposed to give a check for $2,460 for the signs.
Sure.
But I don't know if the road commission has to wait to put those signs until after the road's actually public. I'm not really sure how that
There were
that
stop
works.
signs there at one point in time.
Yeah.
Somehow they got knocked down and
Well,
taken.
those are probably from way back in the
I was
beginning.
just gonna try and buy some and get some help and put them in ourselves, at least temporarily, if anything, whether this is gonna get finished quickly or not.
Are you the current head of the HOA?
No.
Yeah, we're anticipating
let
it
me.
will be.
Sounds like a smart wife.
Yeah, well,
All right,
thank you. All right.
Anyone else for public comment? You know the drill.
Martin Andreski, 2105 Middle Ridge Drive. First, I'd like to thank you for acknowledging and addressing it already. I know I tend to be less than pleasurable in these conversations at times, but it is appreciated. It's out of frustration. I think Eric said that. I won't repeat everything. I won't go back over. Just a couple things I'd like to point out since we will be talking to him. Where they did the sidewalk cut and they actually excavated it 2 to 3 times larger, and then they reset the forms and cut back these little approaches to like 6 and 8 feet. So when they did that, they chopped our sprinkler systems. So on 7 or 8 points, they've chopped out our sprinkler lines, the heads, the wire harnesses that control the control valves are just there. I guess the point is, just dumping the dirt in and going over it, it doesn't really help us, because then we have to dig it right back out again and pay, an irrigation company to come out and fix it. I mean, they really should do it. They are laying right on the grass. I mean, a lot of the heads now are gone. I don't know if kids took them or whatever, but you can see the black poly pipe and the harnesses laying all over.
I did not express that because I was not aware of that.
Well, and I think unfortunately,
Unless I
because we've been
missed it
playing this
somehow.
legal game,
Right.
that doesn't fall under our responsibility. You end up with civil court.
Sure. So, these are a lot of the frustrations we have, and quite honestly, there's not a lot of place to go. I did want to bring up, I know this is not it's supposed to be a question and answer thing, so I'm going to bring it out as a point that maybe the board or the township can look into and get back at minimum to the board or the management company. But I've been wondering, because I know Silverman still had not, as last I was communicated, transferred over the deeds to part of our common areas. We have been maintaining and upgrading that, and we don't. He can pull a rug out from underneath it. I'll go on record to say I trust him about as much as a criminal doing life waiting to be executed. I think he's sleazy. I've looked at a lot of stuff online. I've never seen a developer that's had so many lawsuits from his own employees, his own partners and things like that in multiple states. I do not believe a single thing the man says. I guess the last thing I would like to say is on that, hopefully we've learned something. You know, the boards and multiple people through the boards over the past 20 years have learned a lot about it. We have developers that come in using their pitch people to sell us their next best thing. I have listened to the popular pitch man that's been coming here for a couple of years that will try to sell ice cream to an Eskimo, and then when asked pointed questions about things, just derail it and start talking about a different subject. I'd like to see if the board, whether it's the planning commission or the trustees, because I know after it moves through the planning, it comes to you guys, I'd like to see somebody hold them accountable. If a question's answered, asked, I'd like to see it answered and not deflected, because that's a common thing. And then the last thing I'd like to say is I was very disappointed when I was reading some of the informations from McKenna, the planner, and I'll just summarize just a couple points to where when I was reading some of their proposed dialogue over the trilogy plan, there was two comments made. One, the proposed plan is not entirely consistent with the master plan and its goals and the natural conservation. But my question would be why is this acceptable? Why is it not yes it is or no it is not? And if we're paying people for their professionalism and their expertise, it should be yes or no. The other comment was the proposed concept plan also generally conforms. Again, it does or it doesn't. I don't really understand why that's it. If I go to a doctor and they say, well, you might be sick, and then they tell me to go see the receptionist and pay my $300 for the office call, I have an issue with that. I am or I am not, or what the next step is. It frankly put, it just seems like they're trying to push their agenda to shape the master plan and Holly in their vision for whatever trophy that they can say that look what we got done out in Holly, and it just doesn't fly. It stinks to me and several other people. I think they should be held accountable for it. They charge a pretty fair wage for what they do, and I think the answer should be yes, no, this is what they need to be in compliance. That's really all I have. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Marlo, it's good to see you as always.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. Any further from the board? None appearing. I will adjourn the meeting at 7:28. Andrew.
Yes, sir.